Hi everybody, Cash here, welcome back. I'm going to do the normal video later, but for now I want to do this one separately because I have something to tell you. The story originally will be about me, but the moral of it, the lessons and so on will apply to everybody. And I thought I should let you know. Yesterday, not to put too fine a point on it, I almost died. It's a very sobering moment. I was at the dentist having a crown replaced. Now when something is a really big job like that, I have nitrous oxide. The rest of the time, nah, I'm fine. But when it's a really big heavy job of gouging and drilling and sawing or whatever else they do, I really don't want to know. So I had nitrous oxide. And nitrous oxide, if you ever had it, you know, it enables you to drift off, you dream a little bit, sometimes crazily, you can have hallucinations, you get messages, you get ideas. I've even done pictures while I've been under the influence of nitrous oxide. It's quite a creative thing in small doses. Well, what happened yesterday was I had all of that, and it was great. But as the procedure went on, there was apparently a malfunction in the oxygen tank, because the way it works is you get a nozzle like a snorkel around your face, because your mouth is practically sealed off with a plastic or rubber mat. I have no idea what it is, but it's covered over. So you can't really breathe through your mouth, you have to breathe through your nose. And they have a nitrous oxide tank and an oxygen tank, and I guess they mix the two somehow so that you get both. And the oxygen tank stopped working for whatever reason. So I was breathing just nitrous oxide. Obviously for quite a time because nobody noticed. But on the inside, I noticed. Because instead of dreaming and picturing and having a certain amount of control over where my thoughts went, sometimes, not always, but sometimes, instead of that, it was very, very quiet. And I could feel my animating force diminishing. I can't put words to this, that's all I can tell you is it was diminishing. And as I lay there within myself, deep, deep, deep within myself, I began to slip. You know when you pull your arm out of a sleeve? It's a bit like that. I started to slip out of my body. Or when you get an infant and they wear one of those onesies, you know, with the dressed up like a bear with the ears on, and it's very, very cute, but they take it off and they just peel the thing off. It felt like I was slipping out of my onesie. And a voice, which I take to be my higher self, but I actually have no idea. A voice said, "You can go now, you know. Do you want to die?" And I, in whatever corner of consciousness I had left at this point, said, "Sure, why not?" That's the shocking part. I said, "Sure, why not?" Ever curious. Wanted to know what it's like. And what had happened was that the tank had shut off, and they only realized that I was in a really bad way when apparently my arm just dropped off the chair. Crazy. So I was lying there going, yeah, sure, why not? But I had a question. It's really interesting. My question was, inside me, going on, wherever it was going on, do I have brain damage? Because, you know, if I can't do my pictures, if I can't do my work, if I can't write, that would be quite a turnabout. And this voice said no. But I kept slipping out of that sleeve, that sheath of humanity, of physicality that is the body. And the body just sort of vanished, and I slipped out this way, headwise, out this way. And there was nothing left. I didn't care. I had no attachment. I had no responsibility. I had no, what would you say, grievances or duties or things I had to worry about or shame or regret or nothing. It's just gone. To people, to places, attachments, all gone. And then I heard shouting and cursing, actually. And they'd noticed in the room that I was right out, beyond unconscious, just like really not even present. And there were people taking my pulse and yelling at me and yelling my name, and they thought I died. In fact, they said so afterwards. We thought you died. And I'd be the first patient they ever lost. I have a great dentist, by the way. It doesn't sound it, but I do. Great dentist, great people. But this was just a mistake they'd made. The tank wasn't full, or it had malfunctioned or something. So they yelled at me, and eventually I opened my eyes and was back. But what was shocking about this is that it was a choice. Remember those pictures I told you about with Kim Jong-un, that he'd come to a point after an accident or a problem or a surgery or whatever had happened, where his soul had to make a choice between living or dying, coming or going. That was the choice. And it was the easiest choice. Easy peasy. All I had to do was say, sure, okay. And I did. Because by that point there were no attachments. And when I talk about Paul Selig's books, particularly the Book of Freedom, and how there is the true self and the smaller self. The smaller self is the one that worries, that has the ego issues, that's trying to control, that bears grudges, that is impatient, and all this stuff, and is acquisitive, and has habits and beliefs, and that's all the small self. The true self, the bigger self, is like this massive body of energy crammed into the smaller self, into the smaller body. And that true self is waiting for us to accept it. Paul Selig says you don't have to claim this. You don't have to claim your true self, your perfection, your connection to divinity. You simply have to accept it, and it's yours. And in that moment I accepted it, and I started to drift, and my body went in that direction, and my spirit went in this direction. It packed its bags and left. And if they hadn't yelled and screamed and touched me and rattled me and whatever, I'd be gone. Which I found fascinating. When I finally did come round, it took a long time. I didn't care about the mistake or the oxygen tank. I just came into the world anew, calm, with a sense of what's important and what isn't, of who we are and who we're not. And I thought, wow, that's the truth right there. I've experienced this core of truth that we all know and understand, but because we get caught up in the hectic world of Donald Trump and politics and money and jobs and family, we completely get wrenched away from our true selves. The smaller self takes over, and we get lost. And there was this thing that Brene Brown said, you know, the researcher on vulnerability, amazing, amazing woman. And she gave a talk, a lecture, about her book, Daring Greatly. And she explained where she found that phrase. It came from Theodore Roosevelt, and how it changed her life. And I'd like to read it to you now. You may have heard it already before, but I'd like to read it to you because this was one of the most important things that I could read after this had happened at the dentist yesterday. It is not the critic who counts, nor the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man or woman who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. And half the problem we have in being our true selves, or allowing our true self to be manifested in the physical. See, this really moves me. I'm in a very vulnerable state right now. Half the problem is that we are harnessed, anchored by shame, fear, self-doubt. In fact, she says, when you enter the arena, there are going to be critics. And that's what we're afraid of. And 3 of the seats in the arena will be filled, guaranteed, with shame, scarcity, and comparison. I'm not good enough. There isn't enough for me. I don't belong. They have more than I do. I'm not as good as they are. They're doing better than I am. They have more money than I have. Those are the critics who sit in the arena and prevent us from really embracing our true selves because we fear being judged or being seen as not good enough or not being loved or not belonging. And what I found yesterday during this episode, and it was really quite rattling, I'll be honest with you. I've not been the same since. What I found yesterday was that those things that I was attached to in life, and we all are to some degree, shame, fear, comparison and so on, those things I was attached to evaporated the moment the voice said, you can go now, you know. Do you want to die? And I felt release. I felt how we should be feeling as we go about our lives. In gratitude, in love, in kindness, in compassion, letting go of the rest. Expressing our true selves openly like a beacon, not hiding our light with shame, regret, doubt, impatience, greed, lack of compassion, and so on. So today, I'm a slightly different person than I was yesterday. Yesterday, I was almost a dead person. And I'm very grateful. Damn, I thought I could hold it together to the end. Anyway, that's it, really. I just wanted to share that with you, and I'm okay. I'm really okay. I swear, I'm okay. But it was very moving, very inspiring, very leveling, and very connecting with the universe. For the first time in all my life, I felt that. Amazing. I'll be back with another video soon. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.